Hello, everyone. This is Ron Kraft with WorkMax. We're going to give just another minute here for everyone to connect and join, and then we'll get started. Okay, thank you, everybody. We're excited to be with you today and go through this webinar. Again, by way of introduction, my name is Ron Kraft with WorkMax. So I'm going to be going through, and we're going to be focusing on today what we call Insight, which is a module of the WorkMax platform. My contact information is listed here. So any questions, feel free to reach out. We'd love to schedule some more time to do a more in-depth demo with you and really show you the power of WorkMax and how we can help you to streamline, automate processes, and get better accuracy with the data as well. So as I mentioned today, we're going to be focused on what is called Insight. Our title here is Productivity and Time Tracking Advantages of WorkMax Insight. Some of the key things that we're going to talk about today is, as you can see here, how to streamline the communication. And really this is from the field to the office. Being able to get that information easily through our platform and having up-to-date information easily. The second point, controlling costs. Being able to reduce project expenses, financing predictions, cost estimations. The more data you have, the better you're going to be for future bidding, estimating on your projects. So being able to see that information is critical. And of course, increasing efficiency. Not just getting that information from the field, but being able to see that also in real time, where you're at as far as job progress and productivity, budgeted versus actual, current pace, all of that. So in WorkMax, we've got the ability to show you that in real time, and that way you're not having to wait, after payroll or a week later or more. And then, as always, any questions throughout the webinar, feel free just to type them into the questions box. We'll answer those. We should have some time today as we go through this, and then my contact information as well. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, let's go ahead and pull this up. Okay. WorkMax, again, is a cloud platform for field data collection, specifically for construction. This here, what we're looking at is the control center. For those in the office, this is where you're going to log in online to view the data as it's submitted from the field. There are other pieces or other modules within the WorkMax platform. Of course, time tracking, we're going to touch on that a little bit today. There's also assets for equipment and machinery, forms, digital forms, and then Insight is where we're going to be today. As we start here on the Insight module, what we do here, this is where we're able to take all of your jobs, all of your projects, and then break those down, showing budgeted versus actual. What's completed, what's remaining. If I drill down into one of these projects here, so I've got this Sunridge Condos job as an example. Now this is the entire project, broken down by task with the budgeted hours and units. Now these units, this could be, so many square feet of this, so many cubic yards of that, so many XYZs that need to be installed, whatever that unit of measure is. These budget details we're also able to pull over into WorkMax through our integration. So if these budget details are in your accounting system, we can pull that over automatically as well with the job details. Now, based off of what's been completed, all right, what's been reported from the field, just having those guys clocking in and out, reporting their time and those units, we can get that information here and compare that. So I'm going to switch over. Let's go to the mobile app and let's go through an example of what that would look like for those guys in the field as they're reporting this information. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my app, just my phone right here on my desk. So I have the WorkMax app installed. We open it up. It's a simple pin pad. Each employee is assigned a pin. If I put the pin number in for an individual employee, all right, let's say we have George here who's going to clock in. When George goes to clock in, he's going to select the job or the project. Right, you'll notice we got the camera turns on for facial recognition, and then he can select his task or his code. I'm going to go ahead and select one of these codes, and this information obviously is going to be pulled over from your accounting system. These codes can also be job specific. So depending on the project that they select, only those associated codes will be available. I'm going to grab one of these codes, and we're just going to go ahead and confirm. Now that's complete, and it sends the data back to the office. So back here in the control center, if let's say we're in the office, if we go here to the time section, looking at today's date, right, there we go. We see George, he's just clocked into this job. Here's what he's doing, date, time. So that's automated and in real time that you see that back in the office. You'll notice there is the option or the ability to report units and production with that time record. That is tied to the code that they select. So there's a setting in our system where if needed, we could turn that on for this code to say, hey, you were doing this. Well, how many linear feet of that did you do? All right. So if we continue with this example of George, let's say he is done for the day. All right, he's going to go back to the app, put his PIN number back in, and he's going to clock out. But when he clocks out, now you're going to see here, I have this required field where it's going to ask me to put in my production. How many linear feet, how many square feet, how many XYZs did you install? Again, that's based off of the code that he was working. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just put in some numbers. And then I do have this setting also where it's going to show their total time, and I have to sign off on my hours. Now, again, that's complete. It sends that data back to the office. So if we come back here and we just refresh this page, now I can see that George has clocked out. He's also signed off and approved his time, and I have his production units. Now, this can be done individually, just like what we did here for George. This can also be done at a crew level. So the foreman, the manager, he can just report that as well for his crew through the same mobile app. But it's this detail, it's this information that populates these dashboards in the Insight module. So going back to kind of our initial PowerPoint and presentation, streamlining the communication easily from the field to the office. We just clocked in on the mobile app. We just reported our time and labor and our production. Now here, when we're looking at this project, if I scroll down, right, here's the breakdown by task, by hours and units. Here's where we take that information as it's reported from the field, but we can analyze this to show you what your current pace is, right? How many are we averaging per hour? And where does that put us as far as a trend? Okay, so you can see right here with this task, right now we're averaging 23.6 an hour. And if we continue at that pace, we're going to end up over budget by this many hours. The really powerful thing with WorkMax INSIGHT is that this information is in real time. You can see here, this was updated just a minute ago. I can refresh, it was just updated a few seconds ago. So now we're not having to wait till after payroll, a week later or more, to find out that we're behind. So super powerful being able to get this level of detail and information in real time, helping you stay on top of the budget. Okay. I always say, data is king. And the more information we can get, the better you're going to be for future bidding, for future estimating, because now I know exactly how long it takes my guys to do X, Y, and Z. Now, this information that we're looking at in the control center, as to say that we're in the office viewing this information. In WorkMax, you do also have the ability to push this information back out to the field. So if I come back over here to the mobile app, all right, I'm going to go ahead and open this up, but I'm going to go back into the app as a foreman. All right, so I have Tony here in my system as a foreman. You can see he can clock in. I gave him access to forms, but I also gave him Insight. All right, now he can go right here and look at that exact same job. So he's seeing the same thing, right? But this is boots on the ground, right? These are guys in the field. And he's seeing right there, hey, guys, we are behind on these tasks. So now they can pivot, they can allocate resources and stay on top of the budget. So this is kind of like having the scoreboard in the field, right? Those guys are out there, heads down, they're working, but they don't know if they're winning or losing. So this is giving them actionable data, real-time information of where they're at on the projects. So really that is the power of WorkMax Insight, not just getting the time and labor from the field, but doing something with the data. So easily being able to capture those production units, just like what we did here with George, which then feeds into these dashboard views, giving you predictive analytics of where you're at, what the current pace is, how you're trending. Now, the other thing is this data, this information, we also can export, we can send that back to your accounting system. You also can just download or export all this information into an Excel file, a CSV file, and do what you need to with it as well. There's also the added flexibility. If you do need to edit a record, or I'm sorry, edit a field, I can just manually come in here and enter in the budgeted hours and units. But I could also put in what's called a variance, an estimated complete. This here, what this is saying, oops, let me go back, sorry. If I'm looking at the data here on this task here, formed footings, based off of the information that's been reported, it says that we're at 47%, but maybe, I'm on site and I'm looking at this and I say, yeah, we're probably about 50%. So I can come in here and put a variance of, what complete is, what I'm eyeballing that at to make that correction. So there's that flexibility there as well. Now, the other thing that this does for, talking about those key points from our what we're focusing on today, streamlining communication, getting that information easily from the field to the office, but also cost benefits. Now you have detailed information as to how long it takes your guys to do X, Y, and Z. But also this helps you identify who are your top performers, right? Who's your rock stars out in the field? Why is it taking this guy an hour to do X, but it's taking this other guy 3.5 hours, right? So again, the more data you have, the better off you're going to be and saving and improving costs going forward with future bidding and estimating. And just the efficiency of being able to see this in real time and not having to wait till after payroll until when that information has been processed. So that is WorkMax Insight, specifically productivity and time tracking. So any questions here? I'll go ahead and open this up for a few minutes and just see if there are any questions on that here. Okay, it looks like there was a question on being able to edit the production units. Sure, if needed, we can come in here and go ahead and select that record. And if we do need to make a change, you do have access to manage the data that way. And again, that can be done individually or at a crew level. You could also do that and report those production units. Another question, how are the production units themselves set up? So under the settings, when we create your account, there are some details where we can come in and you can customize what those units of measure are. Here in my system, this is just an example of different values. You obviously can come in here, put in your own, and then have those. These units of measure, that's where we tie this to the cost code. I mentioned earlier that the ability to report production is tied to the code that they select. So, we selected conduit, all right? Well, I'm gonna turn this setting on where it's gonna require them to track or report their units when they clock out, and I can then specify that unit of measure. Okay, one question here on integration and pulling the data, the budget details over from the accounting system. Yes, so with WorkMax, we use our integration tool, which is called ConnectMax. This piece here, this is what serves as kind of the bridge between your accounting system and WorkMax. And what we do is we use this tool to make a direct connection to the database for your accounting system, where we can then automatically import all of your job details, all of your employee information, all of your codes, including the budget details themselves. So this connection is what automatically pulls over that data. Going forward, whenever you add new information in your accounting system, maybe you add a new project, you add a new employee, you inactivate a project, or maybe you update the budget, this piece here will pull that over to WorkMax automatically. So this just runs in the background, and that's how we get the data into the system. Okay, all right, let's see here. Any other questions? Okay, so just to recap, and I appreciate everyone's time and thank you for jumping on and going through this. Hopefully this was helpful and beneficial. Again, WorkMax INSIGHT, productivity and time tracking, the 3 points we're talking about today: streamlining the communication, really making it easy to get the data from the field to the office through the mobile app, just as we saw here. Controlling costs, being able to get financial predictions and cost estimations based off of the data here through these dashboards. And of course, increasing efficiency, getting real-time visibility of where you're at, budgeted versus actual, current pace and trend, and staying on top of the budget, both in the office and in the field through the WorkMax mobile app. So thank you again for the time today. This webinar will be available online that you can share. We'll send this out as well. Any other questions, please feel free to reach out directly. My contact information, as I shared earlier, and hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.